Welcome to Everybody Studios. This is Everybody in Charlotte, a series of 15-minute conversations highlighting the people of Charlotte making a difference. Corinne Brown, welcome to Everybody Studios.
Well, thank you. It is a beautiful morning. I'm glad that it's not raining right now. So.
Yes. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for participating in Everybody in Charlotte. I typically start off with how we know each other, and we kind of just got to know each other in the last 20 minutes, but how do we connect? We connected, I guess, social media. And
technically it would be the NA Fest. That was in January.
Yes.
I was there as one of the vendors promoting Sober Carpenter, so I kind of was like a fangirl from a distance.
Yes.
Like, who is this guy? What is this champagne problems? I need to know more about this. So I did stalk you a little bit on Facebook, but I think you reached out or commented on something I did first.
Yep.
I don't remember.
Yep. Because the alcohol-free beverage stuff caught my eye, and I'm sure I made a comment.
Something like that, yeah. And so then it was just a slow little thing, and it was like, hey,
who are you?
We should know each other.
I love it. All right, well, cool. So my first question that I love to ask, and it's probably my favorite question, is can you tell me a story about a time that you laughed the hardest you've ever laughed?
Oh, see, I love to laugh. I think
laughter
is the key to the soul. But the one that jumps out to me, honestly, my family, my parents and my two daughters, we go on family trips at least once a year. And I remember last year we were on a cruise, and I don't remember what it was, but we were laughing so hard in the dining hall. People started looking at us like we were crazy. And it was just the most beautiful, blissful moment where I was like, this is what memories are made of.
Yes.
And I want to laugh like this all the time. I hope that we always have these moments.
It's the best. It is the best. A lot of my guests talk about like their friend from childhood, you know, that doesn't even matter what you say. It could be a look, you know, an eyebrow raise or something, and it's just funny.
The nuances are funny when you know someone for a long time and you can just tell, oh, I know what's going on there.
Yeah, that's right.
Those are the sweet spots.
It's the best. It is the best. All right, so what would you consider to be your superpower?
My superpower, that I make people smile. I have an amazing contagious energy that brings happiness to other people.
Yes.
And I light up a room, and that is my superpower because I bring joy and love everywhere I go. And I think that actually works well with my name because Corinne is rooted in, depending on the religion or the background, but it's like God's love is one of the interpretations. And when you think of Corinthians in the Bible, it is love. So I'm love.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, how lovely. Jeez. I just can't stop smiling over here.
See? You catch a smile. It changes everyone's day.
It's lovely. It's lovely. Caffeine help you out a little bit?
You know, caffeine is a beautiful thing, but actually this is natural. People sit there and wonder like how my energy is so high. And I just go, this is just one of my blessings that God gave me, but I'm a kaleidoscope. So just hold on because as long as the light is shining, it's always beautiful. You just never know what you're going to get.
Yep. Understood. You're human too. Got it.
That's the truth.
All right. So where are you from?
Well, I'm from the Carolinas overall. Like, do you want my whole family history?
No, just I'm going to lead up to kind of a Charlotte question, but I'd love to know kind of what led you to Charlotte and where you're from originally.
Okay. So I originally moved to Charlotte because of my parents for our jobs, and we lived in South Charlotte for a long time. I actually went to Northwest School of the Arts and have an art degree. Played sports.
Beatty's Ford.
Beatty's Ford.
I went to West Charlotte.
Oh, I played sports at West Charlotte. I actually was on their varsity softball team.
No way.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Small world. You never know how you're connected.
Yeah. Well, WC. It was an interesting time.
I know. I drove by there the other day. It was like, what's going on?
It's a
over
field.
Here?
Right. They're completely rebuilding everything. It's insane.
I can't wait to see what they come up with. Charlotte's constantly changing. I think that's one of the things about living in and outside of Charlotte. If you miss a year or two, you don't know where you're going because the roads keep changing. I feel like
no
it's
question.
like, oh wait, no, it's construction here now. I don't remember this.
Yeah, and landmarks are not there anymore, and they're just big buildings. And yeah.
I know. I used to live in Chantilly before they got rid of the Penguin and everything. And I remember I used to walk to the Penguin, and I'd walk back home. And I love Zeta Janes for my daughter. We'd have Layla Day, where on Fridays, if I did my work, because I've always been self-employed, I got to go have brunch with my daughter.
Oh, nice reward.
Good little small things.
All right, so you're from the Carolinas. You went to all right. So all right, next question is, if you would share a hidden gem that you know of in Charlotte. It can be a place, it can be a person, it can be a restaurant, it can be a park bench.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, yeah.
Hidden-
Some people don't want to share them because they don't want to give them up.
Well, I wouldn't either. I mean, I'm a big fan of the greenways.
Oh yeah.
I love good walks, and I think that's a gem that I think Charlotte does have, is that there's so many different trails and opportunities to get out in nature that there's no excuse. And I think that's really important for your mental health too, to get out there. So I appreciate that Charlotte is giving these natural scapes
Yeah.
that we're able to enjoy.
Yeah. Right alongside those clean, healthy creeks.
Yeah, yes, right. They're so clean. If more people would get involved.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I know, it's funny. Those greenways are amazing, and there's one that runs, right through town and goes from, I believe, Pineville all the way up to UNCC now. But it runs along, I guess, Sugar Creek, Briar Creek, Little Sugar Creek, and sometimes you're just right next to it, and it's just filthy. Which makes sense. It's a creek through the middle of a city.
Next time I will have a different perspective when I'm walking. I'll be like, let's check out this creek.
Sorry, I don't want to.
How many things are in here?
Do not want to ruin it for you, but yeah, but I think that's the case in most rivers and drainage. It's like car oil and.
That's true. But I think that's a good example of perspective. It's what we choose to look at in life that we focus on.
Totally. And I don't necessarily focus on that. I just don't want my daughter jumping in it.
Well, I get that one too.
That's all I'm
get
going
that
for.
one too.
Just stay out of it. Stay out of it.
Right. Stay on the main path, please.
Yeah. All right, let's do the big question.
Yeah.
Where in your life are you making a difference in the lives of others?
Well, I like to think that I do that every day, but the main one that I love to share about is a couple years ago, I started a non-alcoholic beverage company.
Yeah.
Where we retail and distribute non-alcoholic options to restaurants, breweries, as well as to individuals. Because our main mission is, whether you're choosing a dry day or a dry life, you deserve elevated options, right?
I love it.
No one wants an O'Doul's. And
No,
Shirley Temple's.
not anymore.
Yeah, no thank you.
I used to drink a lot of them.
Well, it's all you had.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And O'Doul's
Yeah.
Amber isn't that
It's not that
bad. But
they sit on the shelf for too long, so they'd end up being bad.
They would. But this is just the thing, is we live in an amazing city that has fantastic breweries and nightlife.
Yeah.
But why don't they have non-alcoholic options too? Because there are amazing craft non-alcoholic beers out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I truly, when I gave up alcohol, I missed having a Blue Moon on a hot day. In the winter, I liked a good Killington's Irish Red, and I love a Brut champagne. But I didn't want the alcohol. So how do you still get that experience that you want without the effects, so that I can be clear-headed and live the life that I'm intending to live?
Yep.
And that's where there was a huge miss in this area,
Yeah.
where there are options available, they just aren't accessible. So Be Refreshed Beverage Company was formed in a way to make it accessible for those that are choosing. And I love numbers, and I'm sure you do too, and you're very aware of these, but the average person 18 and up, or not average, a recent statistic, 38% of the population choose not to drink that are 18 and up.
Okay.
And that's 38% of the population is choosing
Yeah.
not to drink.
Very cool.
And the number one reason is for health.
Yeah.
And
It's trending.
It's trending. It's trending. Mental health. Because seriously, let's look at what came out of the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
The biggest pandemic that came out of the pandemic is mental health.
Yep.
And alcoholism only makes it worse because it brings more anxiety. I mean, I can go into all the statistics and all that fun
we
stuff,
don't have
but
to do all that.
we don't have to do that. But it's just one of those
Come
things.
on my other show and
We'll
do
get
that.
on that one too. Yeah, but it's just, I want people in Charlotte to know that you have options.
Yeah.
And that I want you to be asking for options, because I want to be, every restaurant should have a dry bar. Like, that's
Sure.
my personal opinion, where they have options where if someone's having a meeting in the middle of the day, but they still want something sparkling, they don't have to have ginger ale.
Yeah.
You can still have the same things other people are having, just without the alcohol.
All right. So how do we achieve this?
I think it's changing the conversation, where we stop glorifying alcoholism and start to normalizing sobriety is the big one.
So demand.
People asking for it. I've gone into some restaurants where I'm like, hey, I'd love to distribute to you. And they go, no one asked for it. But then I talk to people who want it, and they say, well, it's not on the menu.
Right. So why would I ask for it?
right?
Yeah.
So we need it to be on the menu so people are asking for it, but then I need people asking for it so that it will be on the menu.
Yeah. Well, and there are a few that are highlighting this. I
Yeah.
mean, like the Restaurant Constance, you know, Sam Diminich. I mean, he has a menu. He has a pairing menu, like full on, like 12 different alcohol-free beverage options to pair with your food. It's outstanding. One of the first people that's ever done that, I think, as far as the pairing piece. And then there are a few restaurants that kind of have their little mocktail area, which is just like sugar and like pineapple juice.
But their idea of mocktail literally is like a lavender lemonade.
No, I know. We need to elevate.
Yes, I like
No
to
question.
say it's a zero proof cocktail, right?
Yeah.
Normally you'd ask for an old fashioned. I want a new fashioned, where it uses
Hey,
ritual instead.
it.
Right? Instead of a dark and stormy, I want a smooth sailor, right?
Are you coming up with these?
Oh, no, that was ritual.
Okay.
Totally. They have a great little book.
Those are good.
I know. I would love to steal it, but I didn't.
I'm sure we can come up with some.
Even Clever has this one that's called Honey on the East Side, and it's fantastic. It uses their gin alternative, and it uses local honey syrup with cucumber and mint. And it's just, there are so many amazing flavors because it comes down to the experience. And you want the experience, but I don't want the effects. And I think everybody deserves that option.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to help give in Charlotte to everybody.
So what do you think the difference is, if we can dig a little deep, is or in between the flavor of a spirit included and just a beverage?
Okay. Well, let's give an example for like an alternative. So Ritual is one of the ones that I carry, and they are full botanical. So when you think about the flavor profile, it's got the charred oak in it. It's got the notes and those essences that when you taste it, you get that full aroma and experience. You don't just get juice. And I think that's what the actual liquors out there offer. It offers this other flavor in your palate. So it's
Got it.
elevated.
Sure.
And that's what these alternatives offer.
Cool.
So just
Never
like
thought about it that way. Thank you for explaining that.
yeah, so it's like you want the whole.
Yeah.
I mean, experience is the word I keep coming, but I know there's another one out there. Like, I'll think of it after.
Yeah. Yeah, because often people talk. There's lots of schools of thought in this world. Obviously, with the whole sobriety and recovery community, and then with the wellness community, they can be sometimes.
Oh yeah, I like to say there's a huge gray area when it comes to sobriety with the spectrum.
Sure. And there is, no question. Some people don't want the taste of gin in their beverage because they drank gin for 30 years and had a fallout.
Yes. I think that comes down to just for your personal preference too of where you are in your sobriety. And there's so many different programs out there too now where it's not just, oh, you want to quit drinking, do this. There are so many great options out there of support because there are so many more communities coming up of just, this is why we're choosing it. And I think if you get into the sobriety aspect, everyone gets off the elevator at a different point. Everyone's rock bottom is different.
No question.
And we should never judge that. Whatever reason you choose, I respect that. Let me give you the options that you need.
Yes.
Right? For me, when I gave it up, I indulged in the NA options to help me along the way.
Yeah.
Because
me too.
I thought that I needed it. And then, of course, now it's like I'll go days without having a drink just because I don't care.
You're right.
Like your mindset changes.
You need it. Yeah.
Right? But when I want it, I truly enjoy it.
Yeah.
So for another example of a product, I have Venata sparkling wines. I actually import them from the Netherlands because they're so incredibly good and they taste just like a brut champagne where it's actually dry and has that full flavor that a brut champagne can offer. But before them, all the NA sparkling wines are still sweet. They still have the muscadine. They still have that sugar. And I never liked that anyways. So this is giving me that option of when people are celebrating, like at a wedding, or if I'm celebrating because I had a badass day, I just want a glass. It gives me that flavor where I'm like, I enjoy this flavor.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. And then I go have tea and go to bed. And then I sleep amazing because let me tell you, my sleep has never been better the last few years.
Right. Understood. I love it. Thank you for explaining all that in that way because it's and I didn't mean to go off rail here, but those are just my personal, curiosities around because it's such a spectrum and there are people want different things and there are times that, I don't want something that tastes like tequila. I do want something sweet and spicy, that does have different flavors than pineapple juice. So I'm all for everything you're saying. How do you think this, I don't want to call it a trend, but this wave of kind of wellness-oriented thinking when it comes to beverages can change our community?
Well, let's look at how 50 years ago people's views of smoking changed our community.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the best comparisons that most people can relate to is back in the 50s, pregnant women would be smoking, right?
Yeah.
If you have anxiety, just have a cigarette. No big deal. Like our
Yeah, have a
society, it was
stimulant.
normalized,
Right.
right? And then they started getting the real research in of how it's cancerous, how it's really not good for you. You should not be smoking around your children. And our society changed.
Yeah.
I think that is where we're going when it comes to alcohol, because there are trends with alcohol that people are seeing that they saw with smoking before. Alcohol can help lead to different cancers. Alcohol hurts your mental health. Alcohol can hurt your relationships. It hurts your community. All these things kind of go back where it's like the biggest drug out there.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So what do you think is next for you?
Oh, and which
What do you hope to be next? How do you see your company expanding?
well, I would love for us to be able to be the premier non-alcoholic distributor for the area.
Yeah.
Where if someone says, hey, I need a new drink on my menu, you call me because you know that everything that I offer is award-winning. And it's a local business that's here supporting to grow, because I'm all about local. Like, we need to have our communities thrive, and we do that by helping each other.
Love it. All right. So tell our listeners where they can go to support this mission.
Absolutely. So we are on social media, Be Refreshed Beverage Company. You can go to BeRefreshedBeverageCo.com. That's our website where you can order retail online. And tag us on everything too. If you know someone who is a manager, a decision maker at a local restaurant or bar, I'd love to come in for a tasting so that they can see all those great options. Yeah, and just reach out.
Perfect. And we will list all that in the description of this episode. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
If you would nominate somebody to sit in that chair.
Oh, okay. I know a lot of really awesome people, so I'm trying to think now. Well, I know Kelly Hughes is a good friend of mine. She's a financial planner, and she focuses on women going through divorce.
Ooh.
And as someone who has been divorced twice, I really wish that I had known her 10 years ago, because I probably would have done things a lot differently. So she is definitely someone who is to know in Charlotte, because I love that she is helping women in that case. And I think that's a big area that we need help with.
Very cool. What was her name again?
Kelly Hughes.
Kelly Hughes. You've been called.
Yes. I will send her information over to you. She's really amazing. I think you'll like her too.
Cool.
And I'll write you a whole list, because I know some fun people.
That sounds great. The more the merrier for this one. I'm just churning these things out,
I love it.
Great. It's great to get as many people as possible. 3 words to remember you by.
Only 3?
17.
17.
No.
3
Hit me
words
with
to
3.
remember me by: cheerful, driven, and zeal.
Nailed it. Love it. I'll remember you.
Yeah. Just think I have a zeal for life. Just like I have a zeal for seal.
You're a zealot.
Yeah. Zealot. And my mom always said I had a child life wonder or wanderlust growing up, and I haven't lost it. And I'm like, I know, I'm a big kid.
Perfect. It's
But
the way to be.
You got to. Life is meant to be enjoyed and make beautiful memories and moments. Stop getting wrapped up in all the other crap.
You know what I heard someone say? I think it was Peter Attia. He said, he has like 3 boys, and he's like, sometimes you're just in that moment where you want to grab them all by the neck and throw them out in the yard and tell them to never come back until they're older or whatever. And it's just, how you deal in these moments where it's just like the steam pot is just, and he's like, act like you're 80 years old. Imagine you're 80. You've gotten through life and you're on the way out, and somebody gave you an opportunity to come back to this moment. How would you act in this moment? And it's like, wow, you'd act very differently than I am right now, because it would just be an opportunity. It would be a gift as opposed to an annoyance.
It is a gift. And it's interesting. I think I don't think myself as a very patient person, but my children think that I am the most patient person in the world. And I think that's interesting. Good. And I think it's just because I like to sit back and try and understand their perspective. Yeah. And then I ask them questions. Like when they're upset, kind of like what you just shared, I love that. I'll go, will this matter in 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Then let's not spend more than 5 minutes on it.
Mm-hmm. But let's spend 5 minutes.
You know, let's get it out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Let's
tell
not
me how
deny-
you
don't
really
deny it.
feel.
Right.
All right, now let's process this. Let's figure out the root of it.
All right, and now let's move forward.
Let's move on. We do not pick up from the past. We cut the cord and we move. And that took a lot of therapy to say that.
Yeah, understood. Awesome. Corinne Brown, thank you for coming to Everybody Studios and being a part of Everybody in Charlotte.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It has been such a pleasure.
It has been.
I am Corinne Brown, and I am everybody.